Aloha, I'm Athena Angelique. Welcome to Such Good Dogs. Today we're going to be talking about dog accessories. Everything from leashes to collars, harnesses, head collars, and other stuff including backpacks, swimwear, and treat pouch. We're going to start with what I have. So this is what I normally use for my 3 dogs currently. I have 3 leashes for 3 dogs. So I like actually a shorter leash. These are 5-foot leashes. A lot of people get 6-foot leashes. Personally, as a trainer, I believe 6-foot leashes are a little bit too long for most dogs. If you have a dog that's a very small dog, sometimes a 6-foot leash can be a little bit nicer. If you have multiple dogs, I recommend a shorter leash. It's usually easier to keep control of your dogs. Now, also if you have multiple dogs, you notice what I have on the end of my leashes here. This is what's called a carabiner. These are fabulous. I highly recommend one of these if you have more than one dog. Comes apart, put the leashes in, and then it's sturdy. If something happens and you have to let go of one dog, they're usually attached to the other dog and they're not going to go very far. It's also easier, and then they're not both all over the place or all 3 all over the place. This is one of my favorite things for walking multiple dogs. You have different kind of leashes as well. There's your basic leashes that just have the basic clip. There are other kinds of leashes. This is more of a rope leash. This is a rough wear leash. Rough wear is actually one of our favorite places to shop for stuff. You'll see a bunch of rough wear stuff on here. My husband really likes the rope leashes. This is a little bit longer, obviously, but this is great for hiking. I also recommend is a shorter leash. This is, I believe, a 3-foot, well, technically, it's a 2-foot leash. The regular clip. This has a little mini carabiner on it, which is nice. So this is a good thing. I actually have this same leash attached to something in my car. So when the puppy's in the car or when I have clients' dogs in the car, I can attach them so they're safe, so they're not completely all over the car, running around doing that kind of thing, or trying to jump out the window. Obviously you want to focus on driving and not paying attention to your dog. So this is a great thing for the back of the car. Then there's also what we call slip leads. So this goes over your dog's neck and it's a slip lead. This is not something I would recommend to use on a regular basis. These are nice for situations like shelters and things like that where dogs don't have actual collars and you need to get them in and out. You can just slip this over their head. Sometimes when I'm just taking them out for a little potty, I'll slip this over their head. This is not something I'd recommend for regular walking, especially if you have a dog that pulls. With leashes, there are also what we call long lines, which is basically a 20 or 30-foot leash. Has the same handle like a regular leash on one end, and then the clip on the other. Now I happen to have made extra little clips in here because I use these for dog training a lot. So these come in handy for things that I need. But this is a fantastic way to help transition your dog to being an off-leash dog. Lucy is wearing a regular harness that clips on the back. Okay for most dogs. If you do have a dog that pulls a lot on the walk, what I would recommend is what's called an easy walk harness. That's what this is. This can be a little confusing to put together for most people at first. So, simplest way to put together an easy walk harness. You clip the same color together, and this ring here, where it has adjustables on the front, this ring is what's going to go on the chest. So this part goes over the head. You see how the ring is on her chest? And then the odd colored part you clip under the back of their legs. Then the leash attaches to the front here. So when the dog pulls, they actually pull themselves around a little bit. This is a great helpful tool if you do have a dog that pulls a lot on the walk. This is what's called a head collar or gentle leader. If a dog pulls, this is going to help pull them back around too. This is one of the things that works like magic. If you have a freight trained dog, or if you have a dog that's very reactive, that lunges at things, that barks at things, that gets a little crazy on the walk, this is a great thing to help control them as well. The head collar is also a little weird to use at first. It comes like this, like how does this work? You see where this little ring is here? You actually pull it up like this. And then this is the part that goes over the nose. Now when you first put something on like this, I like to have the dog put it on by luring them through it with a piece of food. And then this back part clips around like that. And you adjust it so it's fairly tight like that. Then the leash goes here. Next we're going to talk about dog collars. There are basically two different types of dog collars. First type that you see most often is what's called a clip or a snap. So it goes together and snaps. This is what you see most of the time in most pet stores, are predominantly snap collars. This is a good collar, but not something I would recommend as your dog's regular collar. The reason I don't really like this kind of collar is because it's designed so that if your dog gets caught on something and pulls hard enough, it's gonna break apart. Which is great for safety things, but if you have a dog that pulls really, really hard or that lunges at things, this can actually be a dangerous collar because if your dog pulls hard enough, they're gonna snap out of their collar. The type of collar that I prefer is what's called a buckle collar. So it's basically like your regular belt buckle. Goes in, put the little belt buckle in there, and then put that through, just like your regular belt buckle, like that. The reason I like this type of collar more is because it's a more secure collar. Your dog's not gonna snap out of this if they pull too hard or lunge too hard or something like that. So this is a secure collar. This is actually Ahsoka's collar. Now obviously collars come in all kinds of different colors, patterns, things like that. This is Caravaggio's collar. My husband happens to like spikes. So Caravaggio has a spike collar. That's a very nice leather spike collar. Now as you can see, this is a little bit worn because Caravaggio is 10 years old now and he has had this collar since he was a puppy. Let's talk about dog backpacks. This is a dog backpack. Very simple, basic dog backpack. This is a Roughwear backpack. Again, we happen to like Roughwear as a company and their products are fantastic. I have had different brands of dog backpacks in the past, and I didn't like most of them. Most of them hang a little funny, and like when the dog walks, they're bouncing all over the place, and it's uncomfortable for the dog. These I found that they work really well. The dog is comfortable in them. It's not awkward. I love the Roughwear backpacks. So if you want to try a dog backpack, try Roughwear. Ahsoka. We got the front here. This is gonna go over the head. Here we go. And then her arm is gonna come through here. Basically like a basic harness, fits the same sort of way, and it's gonna clip on the other side here. Okay, and then you got a couple of pouches. This one happened to come with the things to put water in, which is fantastic. And you got extra little pouches. I throw poop bags and things like that in there. So why would you want a dog backpack? A dog backpack is great if you have a dog that has a lot of extra energy, if you go on hikes a lot, or if you have a dog that sort of needs their own job. Some dogs, like German Shepherds and things like that, that were bred to do a job, they're just a house dog, they can get a little bit bored. They don't have something a little extra to do. So sometimes something as simple as your job is carry this backpack while we walk can help them and be a fantastic thing for everybody. So backpacks, love them, try one. Next on our list, we're gonna talk about swimwear. This is Devo's and was Ahsoka's for a little bit while she was small enough. Life vest. This is also Roughwear. We like Roughwear. We got this for Devo because he is a Min Pin Chihuahua mix and he is a small dog. And we live in Hawaii, in Maui, where the ocean waves can get big sometimes. He doesn't really like to swim all that much, but he's more safe with this. The secondary reason that we got this is because we like to stand up paddle and surf. We would like to take our dogs with us sometimes. So when the dog is on the paddleboard, they should have a life vest on so that if you tip over or something happens, they're safe, okay? So if you take your dog out in a boat or on a paddleboard or in a canoe, somewhere out on the water, put a life vest on your dog. Next, we're gonna talk about dog muzzles. Now, there are obviously many different reasons you might need a dog muzzle. If you have an aggressive dog, if you have a dog that lunges or nips or things like that, this is a helpful tool that you can use. Many dog owners get very embarrassed or uncomfortable or just don't like the idea of having to put a muzzle on their dog. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a helpful tool to help you. The way this works, we're going to do it basically the same thing that we did with the gentle leader. We're going to have her put her nose through it to get the treat on the other side. We're going to put the treat over here, and she has to stick her nose through to get the treat, and then take it off. You want to do that maybe 4 or 5 times. Then grab a couple extra treats. As she puts her nose through, she's eating the treats, you're going to go ahead and snap it on. Now this is something new, they're not going to like it, they're going to try and paw it off. To help her get comfortable with it, I'm going to give her some food. Let her eat a little food with it on, and then just go ahead and take it off. So the first time you really put a muzzle on like this, you want to take it very, very slow, make it a positive experience. If you make this a positive experience, it becomes a good thing and not a bad thing. I have seen many times people trying to get a muzzle on their dog, trying with all their might, and they make it more difficult. This is what I see. They have their dog, they're trying to hold on to their dog, and their dog's moving their head back and forth, and they're trying to get the muzzle on and try and get the muzzle on. It makes a very easy thing very, very difficult. All you have to do is use a little food, get your dog to do it themselves. See, she put her nose right into it. Super easy. If you do have a dog that is aggressive or has issues with other dogs, people, lunging, anything like that, I highly recommend you use a muzzle. If you're a little apprehensive about it, talk to a trainer. I have a muzzle in every size. I believe I have 12 or 13 different kinds of muzzles because I'm a trainer that works with aggressive dogs. So this is something I use on a regular basis. If you need to order a muzzle for your dog or get a muzzle for your dog, I highly recommend you go to a pet store and try them on, take some treats with you, so you get the right size. If you get a muzzle that doesn't fit correctly, it's not going to work properly, and they're going to be able to either slip it off or get out of it in some way, and obviously that's not what you want. So very helpful tool. Don't be afraid of the muzzle. The last thing we're going to talk about today is the fabulous treat pouch. This is one of my all-time favorite things as a trainer. This is not something you necessarily need to have, but it's something I would recommend you try. Most of them have just a simple little clip, clips onto your belt or your pockets, like so, and you fill it with delicious treats for your dog. They also have a little cinch thing, so you can close it so your treats aren't going to dump out when you're not using your treat pouch. Now, when I get this out, all my dogs know what it is. Good girl. Good girl. That's a good girl. If you're going to be doing a lot of training, or you have a new puppy, or you have multiple dogs, I highly recommend a treat pouch. It's much easier than having plastic bags everywhere or pockets full of treats that then you have crumbs in your pockets and things like that. It just becomes a mess. So get a treat pouch. Your dog will love it, and thank you for it. Thank you for watching today's episode. I hope it was informative. If you do have any questions, if you're looking to get something new for your dog or you're not sure what to get, feel free to let us know. Shoot us an email, give us a call, anything like that. We're always happy to help. Sit. And Ahsoka says goodbye. Oh, good girl. This is a very basic, simple doggy backpack. Again, this is a rough wear because we really, really like rough wear. I have had other brands of dog backpacks. Start over there.